little section with Aiden McCarthy and Mila Walker.
Hi everyone.
Today we're gonna be talking about some movies that Mila and I have watched in the past week and a little bit before that. These movies, fair warning, these are not necessarily ones that are really for everyone. These are meant for more adult audiences, including mainly ones who, unlike last episode, where we talked about a series with somewhat sensitive content, not mentioning any of it. These movies aren't necessarily sensitive, but they are.
I'll say one of the movies, they kind of talk about a little bit of a social issue. Like a person's experience that can be seen as real and like dealt with in a societal way.
And the other two, I believe, are and the other two, one is a dystopian, which we weren't really a fan of, and then the third movie, well, we're gonna talk about it. The third movie is not really dystopian. It's just I guess, local dystopian. It's kind of a tragedy-ish movie.
Yeah, modern tragedy and a hint of sci-fi.
And, well, yeah, tragedy in a sci-fi world. There we go. So the first movie, the dystopian, which neither of us really liked, it was called, because we're not really dystopian watchers, it's called Snowpiercer. That movie, I stuck around with Mila to make sure she's okay while watching it. But Mila, why don't you tell me what your first thoughts are on it?
Well, I guess I could talk about what the movie's about a little bit. So, of course, there's going to be spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for all three of these and whatever else we're going to talk about.
Yeah, so Snowpiercer is about a train in the middle of a huge ice age. It just goes on forever every year because of some guy. He made this train and he thinks the snowstorm is going to be here forever, and so he kind of like made the train, but he also divided everyone, like he divided people kind of based on who they are. So like
namely their social classes.
Yeah, pretty much their social class. So people in the back, they get the worst treatment imaginable. It's not like, oh, worst class, you don't get that much perks, and first class they get a lot of
the train like literally the train is basically a resemblant of a massive social divide, resembled by the last people on the planet.
Yeah.
During a neo ice age. However, this origin behind that is the ice age was made by some madman who wanted to create a global warming solution, but instead ended up freezing the planet instead.
Mhm. So back to the segregation on the train. The people in the back, they receive poor treatment by being like the entire area is just terrible looking. It's very dark and grimy. There's like roaches all around the train, and they're in terrible clothing. And basically the people in the front of the train, they kind of do this thing where they take their children away from them once in a while for a special purpose. But we'll get to that soon. For their food, it's a little bit of a warning. What they eat is melted up roaches.
It's sensitivity warning right here. So that might be a little late.
Yeah.
Well, it's all fictional. This is not real.
It's not real.
Basically, like it's just a very dark movie. It starts out where you see just how bad the lower class has, get to root for them, and then now one maybe fortunate, but also extremely unfortunate day. They start to rise up against the higher class as they piece together how bad they really are being treated, to the point where the next time I guess you could say one of the upperclassmen, who's one of the leaders of the train, goes down to visit them for potentially for any sort of, I guess, punishment, because that's dystopian things, that's a theme in there. Well, they basically assassinate her, and then they start pushing their way towards the front of the train. Most of them get only halfway, except for one guy, our main character, forgot his name.
Yeah, I forgot my
Dang it.
character too, sorry.
And I guess it shows that we're not really a fan of this movie.
Yeah.
We remember a lot of the scenes very well, but oh well. He pushes it to the front of the train and kind of fails to assassinate the leader of the train to take over him, but then also during a bunch of fight scenes that eventually got him up to the front of the train. I guess you could say there's a little bit of something called an avalanche because the outside is a snowstorm.
Well, the avalanche was caused by another group of people that came along, or like the few people that were able to get to the front of the train, and that was a Korean father and his daughter. I remember the daughter's name. Her name was Yona. The both of them are addicted to this type of drug called chrono, but apparently that drug was fictional drug was kind of an explosive thing, which caused that avalanche so they can get out of the train. But I guess it kind of destroyed the train.
The avalanche. Plot twist in a dystopian, almost everyone dies, because that's how dystopians work. However, this time we have two survivors. Those guys. There's a lot of things that led into it, but.
Actually, the only people that survived was actually Yona and a child, not the main character, unfortunately.
Yeah, the main character died.
So, remember when I said that the children are taken away?
They are it's really dark. Very dark sensitivity. I think they power a train, right?
Yeah, they take them to be put inside a small area of the train, just to be used as slaves.
Yeah, they themselves, as their physical selves, don't power the train. It's they work on the machinery. The train itself is powered by an infinite power source that could have been used for something other than a train, but instead it's used for a train, and to make sure that nothing breaks inside the train, they use slavery, child slavery.
Mm-hmm. So that boy survived along with Yona, the teenage Korean daughter.
And the movie kind of cuts there, so you don't actually get to see a two-parter.
Yeah, it kind of ends seeing if they would survive in the ice age, but apparently there is life because there is
They show a polar bear.
They show a polar bear.
A bear.
Yes.
There. So that kind of reminds me of like not so like going on a lighter note. There are the other movies we were watching. Probably include what's it called, Ex Machina. Want to talk about that one first?
Okay.
Okay, so another movie that we watched together. This one I liked quite a bit more, a lot less dark. I don't really like dark movies, but we'll say it was for an assignment.
Yeah.
We're just gonna drop it there.
It was for my assignment. But that's fine.
So this other movie is called Ex Machina. If you're unfamiliar with the phrase by now, Deus Ex Machina, where for a god of the machine. Basically, when a plot requires some sort of higher power to fix it, but when it's portrayed on stage, basically it's just a person being lowered down by playwright's machinery to resemble that higher power. Oh, in this movie, there are no strings attached to our Deus Ex Machina. Instead, it's a literal robot. It's Machina, the person robot. It's funny.
Well, I'll explain
But
it
also,
again.
it's also a tragedy. So does that make it a tragic comedy? Not really, because it's only slightly funny. Actually, never mind. Maybe not very funny.
Yeah,
Never mind.
there's no humor in the movie.
It is kind of a cute movie on the surface level. At least some scenes are kind of cute, but throughout the whole movie, it's a kind of sad movie.
Yes, pretty sad.
About a genius biomimetic engineer who by that title makes basically is working on humanoid robots that are to be as realistic as possible, even in their intelligence. And and for his business he hires outsiders to do case studies to see whether or not these robots truly are sentient versus not, which his goal is to make a sentient robot. That turns out well, but this guy is also kind of a creep. He's kind of a creep. He's also a very...
He's an alcoholic too. He's very abusive.
And yeah, so unlike the last movie, which touches upon dystopian hating heartstrings, this one just touches on just a touchy feels. Like, please stop being like this man.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Caleb, the one that was supposed to
Our case study guy.
Yeah, case study. He decides to create conversation with the robot, which is named Ava. And so they get to know each other. They form a little bond, but then Ava decides that she wanted to pull a secret on Caleb by making herself look human. So she has these parts of her that can make her get human skin. She also has a dress and a wig, and that way she can look human towards Caleb, and then Caleb starts to attract feelings towards Ava, and even eventually wants her to get out. She wants to get her out of that area. So she tries to form a plan and trick the guy who made Ava, but of course he noticed their plans. But in the end, Ava got out on her own without Caleb nor anyone's help.
However, in the end, Caleb was left behind, and also alone and locked in without any security access. Really, the movie took a really dark twist, and I'm not sure why it had to.
Yeah, Ava
It's a
really
tragedy,
just
I guess.
outsmarted everyone. I guess she doesn't really have feelings of attraction or love, so she's I don't really need Caleb. So
Her goal was to escape, and she saw Caleb as a tool to escape.
exactly.
So, and apparently she's not the first one. If you notice a little bit few details throughout the movie. So, Caleb, the reason why she wanted to escape is because her maker would basically scrap old designs, not necessarily by taking them apart, but instead by taking their AI cores out of them.
Having them.
Yes.
Caleb wanted Ava to remember him, so he really didn't like the idea of her maker getting rid of all that information. so he kind of devised that plan.
So yeah, that's a what do you call it? That's an earthquake story in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I just said.
You're fine.
Anywho, let's see. I guess we can move on to our third movie.
Mm-hmm.
Our third movie would be what was it?
Room.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That one I kind of like.
I like that one.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just go
our
through the words, so I'm sorry.
yes, our secret ghost guest star, our spooky guest star, Kayleen, approved of this movie. So there we go. The ghosts approved the movie.
Room is just very emotional. It just like pulls on your heartstrings, you know.
Very very good story. It's about a boy and his mother who were abducted by just some random guy on the street, basically.
Yeah.
Who hides inside who lives in a house but also hides inside not a basement but like a
shed.
Yeah, shed next to connected to his house.
He doesn't technically live in a shed. He just has the shed, and he just like kidnapped.
He kidnapped the mother at they're around high school. College.
Yeah.
Oops.
It's okay. Kidnapped the mother,
college.
put her in a shed. She stayed in it for 7 years.
But through very creative plan to escape, she has her son. What's his name?
I remember something on my tongue. Give me a second. Jack.
Yes,
Was it
Jack. Jack makes an escape, and manages to get a stranger to call the police.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, although he's a little shaken up and very confused for having apparently never having ever seen the outside because he and his mother were kept. He was born while his mother was in captivity.
Mm-hmm.
Which is very intense fact. Again, intensity warnings.
Yeah.
But this movie has a happy ending because they actually escape. Caleb. Caleb's from the other movie.
Jack is the little boy. Joy is the mother. Old Nick is the captor.
Yeah. So Jack reports Old Nick to the police, and this is all fictional. I hear something beeping.
It's fine.
Okay, that's fine. Jack reports old Nick to the police, and he gets old Nick gets arrested, and Jack is eventually reunited with his mother, released from old Nick's locked room, and basically the rest of the movie, the only one gripe about it is that after that point it just becomes kind of a normal life.
Yeah, but it's like slow, and you just like wonder what's gonna happen next, and things turn into a solemn turn because the mother, named Joy, she been through a lot for 7 years.
And oddly enough, her original family does not actually seem to recognize that as much.
Yeah, especially her father.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Which is a really weird odd detail. I'm not quite sure why it goes like that. Maybe there's a detail that we missed, but
Yeah.
ultimately it still had a happy ending, so I give that a thumbs up on there.
Yep, I did. Jack was able to make friends and live normal, even though it took him some time because his entire life in that shed was based off as an entire imagination.
Yeah, his idea of what the outside world looked like was completely made up, and he had no clue, and only through stories that his mother and old Nick would tell him. And old Nick, was he a drug addict, or he was just an absolutely abusive man?
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
he was manipulative.
It's extreme, yeah.
He tricked Joy by saying that his sick dog was in the shed, and then things went from there.
Yeah, that's basically how the whole story happened, but we don't get to see that. We only hear through his words.
Note to self: don't talk to strangers.
Yeah.
Or go with strangers.
The lesson of the movie: don't talk to strangers. Don't let them take you places.
Yep. If you're gonna go alone, go with your friends.
Yeah.
If you think you're gonna go alone.
Never go it alone.
Yeah.
Ever. Anywho, from a sad into a happy story. Oh, now we got hit now. Very recently, Mila and I have been watching something very silly because she has seen it in her childhood, but I have not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how many people will actually remember this, but or want to remember it, or wish they remembered it. The Super Mario Super Show. This all to bomb again. I guess that's this part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Super Mario Super Show, absolutely brilliant, and I'm not sure whether it's aged well or not, but
It depends. Take it as you will.
Let's see.
I mean, there are memes towards it.
Yeah, there's too many memes. Yes, the Super Mario Super Show, where the theme song is literally trademarking walking.
It's the credit song. Do Mario.
Swing your arms from side to side. One step, Mario.
Yeah.
Slowly walking.
Well, I guess I could probably explain it, even though there's really not any huge storyline towards it. It's just shenanigans.
As you go with Mario.
Yeah.
As you do in a Mario game, there is no story,
No.
or there is a general story.
Well.
Peach gets kidnapped, or something happens, and Bowser's usually the bad guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll explain the first episode. I watched it with Aiden last weekend. Yeah, it's on Netflix in case anybody's interested.
That's how we watched it, and I'm surprised that all of them are actually on there.
Yeah.
But, hey,
a lot of the old cartoons are on Netflix now, which is cool.
yeah.
So practically the show starts out with like two guys dressed up as Mario, and they talk
And
about
Luigi.
neatness.
And Luigi.
Yes, and Luigi as well. They talk about neatness, and apparently they live in Brooklyn, and they're just plumbers in Brooklyn. Pretty much.
So the two plumbers, they invite a guest over to for them to basically show off just how neat they can be. This sort of originally came in because because a customer was basically asking for a job. Was basically asking for her, I think it was her sink to be unclogged.
Yeah.
But they decided to start fixing it, and the sink kind of broke for her and started squirting water in her.
Yeah.
And it gets worse.
A lot of things happen to the poor girl. Just trash fall on her, smoke just blows in her face.
So let's see. So first, she goes to the sink. It gets they try to fix the pipes, but instead they snap a pipe and it starts squirting in her face.
Mm-hmm.
They ask for her. Then she says that what happens in order? They told her to sit down, right?
Yeah, they told her to sit down. She was about to sit on cake.
And she almost did, but so Mario put the cake on the floor and told her to go dry off near the little furnace.
Yeah.
Well, that furnace it's apparently something fell into the furnace because it started spilling smoke,
Mm-hmm.
and now she's covered in soot.
Yes.
She cannot see, and since the cake is sat on the floor, she steps into it.
Mm-hmm.
Then she goes. And
she
then
goes over to the garbage chute, then just trash falls on her, I think.
I I think she just she stumbles into the trash chute.
Yeah.
And then what's next? She's absolutely shocked. So just tell her to sit down. She sits on some spaghetti.
Yeah.
because Mario Brothers, of course, it's spaghetti.
Yes.
Because that is Italian totally.
Mm-hmm.
We are not making any stereotypes. This is legitimately what the Mario Super Show has.
Yeah.
And it's all for memes, not really for being derogatory stuff.
Yeah.
Anywho, the first episode then goes to the cartoon section,
Mm-hmm.
which has its whole other story.
Yeah, so apparently they were just walking in like a snow area. Then this Birdo, I don't know if any of you guys know
It's the
the
story
characters in Mario.
the story of Birdo and her lost baby.
Yeah, the Birdo who lost baby.
And
Apparently Birdo can fly.
Birdo is quick Mario thing. Birdo is a pink Yoshi who is suddenly changed to have a cylindrical snout
Mm-hmm.
with it, but the snout is also her mouth.
Yeah.
And so she very so much. And when you defeat Birdo in Super Mario Bros. 2, which is basically Doki Doki Panic, from a Japanese Arabian art style game. Super Mario Bros. 2, when you defeat Birdo, Birdo basically flies away.
She does fly?
Yes, that's why that's where that detail comes in.
Okay.
I think she flies. I think
know.
Birdo flies away, or maybe Birdo falls down. I don't know which. It's been a while since I've not played that game.
I just remember Birdo as she shoots eggs from her snout.
Yes.
I don't remember her flying.
Yeah. Yeah. Talking about this out of context, it really shows the Mario series is a very weird show.
Yeah.
Not just a weird show, but a very weird series in of itself.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also a thing that you have to think hard about. So
the Birdo lost her baby, so she took Toad instead.
yeah, and Toad is not happy about it. Peach is not happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mario and Luigi are not happy about it, but Luigi's kind of a scaredy cat.
Yep.
So yeah, they almost set off without him, but he eventually catches up. And
Then Bowser decides to hinder, or what they call King Koopa. They don't say Bowser.
yeah, Bowser did not have his name at that time.
Yeah.
During the Super Show.
Mm-hmm. They're just like King Koopa. So they decide to interfere with them trying to get Toad back. So they just set off like bombs and other enemies that you may know of.
Yeah, and basically all the enemies of the first two Mario Bros. Games.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really all that existed of the Mario series.
Yeah.
They never expected that the series. I don't think Nintendo Nintendo nor the I forgot the producer's name of the Super Show.
Oh, I don't know the producer's name.
For that you're gonna have to tune into next episode, of course. So I don't think either Nintendo nor producers expected the Mario series to really take off so as quickly as it did, and nor have such a long lifetime. As you know, there's still Mario games being put out now, and they're selling so well.
Just to note, the entire Super Mario Super Show came out in the early 90s, I believe.
Yeah. So any Mario games past that would not have been featured in the Super Show.
Right.
There's a fun fact. There's actually a little project out there going on, which a few indie game developers are designing a Mario platformer style game, a Mario platforming game, but everything is drawn in the art style of the Super Mario Super Show is cartoon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Every single frame is a hand drawn thing, very similar to Cuphead, but instead of being a run and gun and boss rush game, this is going to be a traditional Mario platformer but with high resolution Super Show art style, and from what I've seen of the first levels and the devs testing it, it looks absolutely beautiful. Really good recreation of it all.
So back to the first episode. Well, while the gang, Marley, Luigi, and Peach they found the baby, so they used like a fire flower, freeze him from his ice block, and then hopefully get the little baby back to Birdo. But Toad manages to escape himself because Birdo, not knowing that Toad is not the real baby, actually dropped him from the sky.
Yeah. Because apparently it's now canon that the Birdo characters can fly. Mama Birdo thinks Toad is her baby, and says it's time for flying lessons. Well, I don't know, but I don't think little mushroom people have wings, and he does not.
Yep.
Somehow he sticks the landing. I have no clue how, but
Let's just say he used his mushroom hat. Apparently,
yes.
that's a parachute.
Which is incredible. Which the image of that is incredibly cursed.
Yeah.
So, which we have got many cursed screen caps in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And so he parachutes to the ground, and the group eventually reconvenes now with a baby Birdo, and from that point forward they need to reintroduce the baby to the mother, to Mama Birdo.
I think Birdo flew down herself and saw that the baby was with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then they have Mama Birdo, Baby Birdo, and the whole group being carried by Mama Birdo to fight off Bowser's army.
Yeah. And they succeeded.
Yeah, this is Mario.
Yeah, of course. And then the mother Birdo decides to treat them for dinner, and the dinner was worms.
Yes, it is worms. because apparently Birdos are now birds.
Yeah, for some reason.
Oh, Birdo. Bird.
Yeah.
Birdo. That's the name.
But isn't Birdo like a dinosaur?
Yes, Birdo is a dinosaur, but also pterodactyl, but also T-Rex, but also a bird. I don't understand.
Yeah, that
But you know what? It's Mario. It's Mario. You don't understand. You don't need to.
Yeah. It's your imagination.
You just do the Mario.
So after the cartoon, the show switches back to the live action, you would probably say.
Yep, and you learn that the Mario Bros client who just wanted to have her sink fixed, but instead got a complete mess over instead of a makeover. Well, she apparently wanted that.
Because it's for a party.
A mess party.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard of a mess party, but apparently it's a thing now.
Things were wild in the 90s.
I guess we could say that.
Yeah.
It's safe to say.
They were so creative.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, there's also a Legend of Zelda show. Came from the 90s as well.
You can tell me about that then.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, Mila.
Well, they do play the opening in the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. So it's just basically Link and Zelda, they have the Triforce of Wisdom, and Ganon has the Triforce of Power. I'm sorry, but there's no Triforce of Courage, sorry. So
you know,
Ganon wants the Triforce
it's
of
a
Wisdom.
Triforce, but there's only two of them. Who has the Triforce of power, wisdom, and courage?
Yeah, but courage doesn't exist in the show.
They're not brave enough.
So, yeah, Ganon just wants wisdom. He wants both of those Triforces so that he can rule the land forever. Link just fights off Ganon, uses his sword that can shoot beams, which is should feature in some of these older games.
In almost every one of them.
Yep.
And apparently a lot of enemies from that show that show I believe is from when Legend of Zelda 1 and 2 were out, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the third one? Which one was the third one?
A Link to the Past.
You think, were there any features in that?
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember, gosh. I know I just recently played A Link to the Past, but I don't think there was a beam shooting thing. But I can always play again.
That's a small detail, but I mean, any other features that aren't conflicting that were in Link to the Past.
Like what?
You played the game, I have not.
Small details, what was it now?
What else? Well, it's happened in the Zelda portion of the Super Show.
Well, of course, it's just a few episodes, and it's just Ganon trying to get the Triforce of Wisdom, Link and Zelda trying to protect the Triforce of Wisdom. Of course, there's Navi, which is a fairy from Ocarina of Time. I think I remember if Navi had a crush on Link or something like that, but I'll look again.
Yeah, we will definitely be talking more about this next episode.
Yeah.
And that of which I guess that marks. And speaking of which, I think that's a good time for a break.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you were listening to Cougar Radio, and we will be back in just a few moments. Goodbye. And hello, we are back. This is Cougar Radio. You're listening to Aiden McCarthy.
And I'm Mila Walker.
And we talk about movies that we cringe at, movies that we don't like, and also games that we do like, and all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
And also things that are happening in either our lives or others. So just a few moments ago, we were talking about Super Mario Bros. Super Show, which is absolutely wild and hilarious ride for I guess the cringiness of the 90s cartoons. And we got some more. So if you didn't like that last bit, well, guess what? We're getting more of it.
Yes.
So we're gonna be talking a little bit about this. Let's see. I wonder how many people actually out there know about the Sonic series.
Things like the Adventures of Sonic or something like that.
Yes, the cringy Adventures of Sonic. Well then, buckle up. We'll let us go as fast as we can, quite literally.
Yeah. So again, we just watched the first episode together. I don't think I remember watching that much in my childhood, but I do remember seeing it a little bit. So apparently the first episode was just like, Sonic and Tails running around this weirdly looking land, and then there's these two robots that just capture him, and then they're just like, Sonic is just like, wait, you don't want to capture us. Don't you remember how we met and how all the times we shared together?
And so we learn about the creation of the robots.
Yeah.
So Eggman was apparently trying to create the ultimate hedgehog capturing robots. Why did he specifically choose hedgehogs to capture, and why is he specifically choosing Sonic and Tails for them to snatch? Like, what is Sonic the only hedgehog out there?
I think
Tails
he's
isn't
just
even a
jealous.
hedgehog; he's a fox.
I think he's just jealous of Sonic because he just runs around everywhere, just does whatever the hell he wants.
It's like a gnat. You just can't swat it.
Yeah.
Or that fly that keeps buzzing in your house and slamming its face against a window. Somehow when you try to swat it, it wants to prolong your pain and its annoyance.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it the opposite? Its annoyance and its pain and your annoyance. I don't know which.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
If that's the motive, then Eggman had some really low motives to be building insane robots out of.
Yeah. Also, I think in the show, again, not the main names are inside the show, so they call Eggman Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah. Because that was, I guess that's what he was referred to in the first few Sonic games.
Yeah.
So Dr. Robotnik, he creates these two AIs that are basically literally just any sort of junk or any sort of technological junk that he has lying in his closet. He chucks it all into a blender and somehow creates robots.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
One robot's a chicken, another one is some drill-looking thing.
Yeah, it's like a tank, but has two drills for its arms and a drill for a nose.
Yeah.
And the drill one is the drill guy. He supposedly has more features for doing his job. However, at the same time, he's a little too dumb to actually know how to use them.
Well, the chicken one is too scared.
The chicken one's too scared. A lot more adept, but also the chicken one's a lot more scared. But at the same time, is more willing to actually do their job and actually think things through because of their fear.
Yeah.
Of what? I don't know. Why are they so afraid? I don't know. I really don't know. I can't explain any further.
But before they were made, Dr. Robotnik made like a whole bounty hunter convention, but the bounty hunter convention was just him and all his robots.
Yeah, I guess it shows that Eggman has no friends.
He has no friends. All they were doing was just degrading Sonic.
Yeah, I don't know what this man's affinity is for capturing hedgehogs, but he's clearly bad at them because he hasn't caught a single one.
Yeah, and there was like many times where Sonic is literally right there in front of him. Why can't he just?
There are other times where he has captured him and simply let him go because I don't know why.
Yeah.
There are so many things that they could have done. The robots have done so many things, but have failed every single time. It's so weird. I don't understand it, but it's wonderful.
Yeah, but after the chicken robot and the drill robot was made, there's also a monkey robot, and apparently he's doing sanitation. He's like, I don't want to do this. I'm gonna catch Sonic myself. Yeah.
Why this monkey clearly does not have the brains of a monkey. Even a chimp would understand that there are higher aspirations in catching a single hedgehog.
Yeah.
But he wants to prove himself worthy to Robotnik, who is not really someone you need to really prove your aspirations towards. He's pretty easily convinced by anything.
Yeah.
So, the monkey basically builds a, what's it called? He builds a fast food joint in like 2 seconds, and somehow
it turns into
a mech.
Giant mech. Yeah.
I really don't understand this, but it's great.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, this is all in the story. The story that Sonic is telling. Eventually the monkey somehow manages to capture Sonic. Sonic tricks the monkey, and
then he goes free.
Yeah, and it even prevents Eggman from finding him right after because Tails puts up a smoke screen. This is.
But practically we only watched like one episode, but the entire episodes are just a game of cat and mouse, and then just like dumb decisions that the bad guys make. No.
There are very. If Eggman is going to continue his villainy, he's going to step of this game, or there's not going to be much left to do.
I did notice that some of the like traps that the bad guys do remind me of like Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote, especially with like the brick wall thing.
Yeah, they pull off the painting a brick wall, which apparently there's a news story somewhere out there. I saw I believe on Reddit, there was a news story that made itself to Reddit where someone literally painted a brick wall to look like a tunnel, and that person got arrested. But apparently it was also it also led to actual crashes. Not
Oh,
lethal, but it did lead to
no.
crashes because it was right after an intersection, with a stoplight. So people would just like, if I remember correctly, people would just slowly move forward to go to the tunnel, but it wouldn't work. So it led to fender bend. I should rephrase it. It led to 5 fender benders, not crashes.
Oh my god. Why
So-
did he do that? Like, did he know that was not gonna be dangerous?
I don't know. I don't know what's more comedically ironic. The fact that this guy literally pulled off a Wile E. Coyote and succeeded, or the fact that 5 people actually fell for it.
Do you know where this was, or you just...
I don't remember where it was. I don't think it said where it was. It just said man paints a brick wall man paints a tunnel on a brick wall, leading to 5 fender benders.
And this is real?
This is a real news article, I think.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
It's oh my gosh. Anywho, so what is it? Eggman is pulling up the paint the brick wall, the Wile E. Coyote special.
Mm-hmm.
But they end up smashing themselves with the wall, 2 robots.
Yeah, apparently they don't have brakes.
Yeah. And yeah. It's basically Tom and Jerry, or
Yeah.
Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner, whichever you choose. This is the 3rd one in this series, we could say.
Yeah. From all the shows that we talked, Zelda, Sonic, and Mario has the longest episodes, and again, I haven't watched all of them, but I guess they had a pretty strong budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of Sonic episodes, but I think Sonic had more than Zelda.
Oh yeah. I mean I wouldn't be surprised since at the time Zelda only had I think Zelda had only 2 games that were very small. Mario had 2 games that were, one was small, one was kind of long-ish.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also there's just the same thing as Doki Doki Panic.
Mm-hmm.
Another game, I think it was also released by Nintendo, but it was made only for in Japan. Of course, nowadays you can buy that game anywhere.
No.
Because internet exists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the Zelda series, I don't think Zelda series simply just didn't have enough content to really base its cartoons off of.
Yeah, I think they were just basing it off the first 2, like you said.
Yeah, because those were the only games that happened.
Yeah.
Sonic, I think had I don't know much about. I only follow the Mario series and the Zelda series, to be honest.
I haven't played that much Sonic games, so I'm in the same boat as
I have played a Sonic game before though, and it's fun. It's a little convoluted.
Sonic
It's
something.
think of it as a marble runner, but you're controlling the marble, and instead of falling off, you simply get lost in a maze of a level.
Yeah, Sonic. Oh, I just know. Yeah, you just press the right button for 2 minutes.
It's not
And
as
then
straightforward
press
as that. There are enemies, there are traps that you have to dodge,
I know.
and there's a lot on the screen. Or at least if we're talking about the old 2D Sonic games. The new ones are a lot different. They're 3D and they have a lot
The
less.
3D one
they're
is
less
a little
detail.
bit more detailed, I know.
Well, detail is one thing, but they're also the reason why a lot of people probably like the newer Sonic games is probably because they're a lot less busy. Like there's a lot less. There's still a lot of eye candy here and there, but it's not all crunched into one space. So you can still appreciate a lot of good detailed artwork and stuff and actual detailed games, but you're not like. But in the old games, things were a lot more flat colors and lots of them, and it's just kind of hard to figure out what is ground, what's not ground, where you are, where you aren't.
Which Sonic game did you play?
I'm talking about I think I'm talking about one of the first few 2D Sonic games, not the 3D ones, the 2D ones.
My Sonic games, I think I only played 2 Sonic games. One was for the Game Boy, one was for the DS. I don't remember the names.
I mean, we will do some research on that as well.
Okay.
We have a lot of research to do for next week.
Yep.
Anywho, what else can we cover?
We can talk about Kilts since yesterday was St. Patrick's
Yes,
Day.
yes. Yes. Irish is totally about luck and not simply about the Trinity, that of which St. Patrick actually supposed to represent.
Mm-hmm.
I feel a lot of people forget that St. Patrick is known well for the reason why it's not known for a 4-leaf clover, but for a 3-leaf clover, which is the Trinity. And he basically told a Jesus-like parable through a 3-leaf clover about the Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little Catholic lore about, not lore, Catholic knowledge story thing, and why St. Patrick's Day originally came out. And then I guess you could say we kind of, I'm not sure if it was America or whichever country it was, if it was America or I'm not trying not to offend anyone, but eventually folklore came in and changed all of that to saying there's leprechauns now, or suddenly there's it's all about luck, 4-leaf clover.
I get
Which
what
is
you're saying. That happens to like every single holiday. Easter bunny, eggs.
You know what Easter is originally about, right?
Yes, of course.
The
Resurrection of Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very dark story leading to a very bright story. Very similar to Room, but instead it's there's a lot of memes about this. It's like plot twist, Jesus dies. Plot twist again, he rises from the dead, and now he's eternal life. Yeah, he defeats death.
But, well,
Yeah.
let's talk about the kilts we got.
Yeah. So here's the thing. For St. Patrick's Day, I decided to give Mila a little gift. Yes, I gave Mila a little gift. We basically got each other kilts.
Yeah.
There's the memes go, man skirts rise up. So yeah. I'm actually wearing one right now for those people who are watching the video.
He's wearing Royal Stewart, which is a red kilt.
Red backdrop with a series of black lines in the center, 3 white lines, 2 yellow lines on the outer edge, and then two blue lines right next to that.
Mm-hmm.
And that pattern is both for the vertical and the horizontal portions. I feel there are names for each part of the kilt pattern, but that is called a tartan.
Yep.
That. But otherwise, we have yet to actually. We are still in our beginning journeys of.
We're trying to figure out. We're trying to differentiate each kilt style, so we kind of know them by name, I guess, the proper way.
And eventually and as we do this, we are also going to start learning more about. We might be learning a little bit more about Irish culture.
Yeah.
Outside of just the clothing.
Mm-hmm. Well, you also have another kilt color, which is Irish heritage, which is green mixed with like white and yellow, I guess.
Yeah, green, white, and yellow.
Yeah.
And you have the what's it called?
Honor of Scotland.
Which is not Irish, it's Scottish.
Yeah. That
Plot
one is
twist.
purple and blue.
Plot twist. Kilts aren't just not just Irish garments.
That one's purple and blue.
But it started.
And it kind of has white in it. Something. I like them both. But mine is a little bit shorter for girls, and it kind of looks more like skirtish. But they both look nice.
Yeah.
You also like the black Stewart, which is like, of course, black, but it has like red lines and yellow and white lines.
Black Stewart is basically Royal Stewart, but instead any black lines in the pattern are turned to red. The backdrop is black. It's basically Royal Stewart, but with red and black details swapped.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
But it's still a very nice pattern. Definitely looking on. Take a look at that.
Yeah.
And that's I guess our little end bit. You were listening to Cougar Radio, and this is Aiden McCarthy and Jamila Walker. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you next Thursday. Goodbye.
See you.
Goodbye.
Bye.